This is the voice of Zimbabwe. This is the voice of Zimbabwe broadcasting on Radio Mozambique in Maputo. The Patriotic Front is now broadcasting your program through Radio Mozambique. People of Zimbabwe, victory is certain.
The people I lead are behind me and approve of what we are doing. That's what matters. The rest of the world will one day, you see, be persuaded to believe we were right when we resorted to armed struggle.
Nowhere has the struggle for decolonization taken a more violent form than in southern Africa, particularly in Rhodesia. Rhodesia was a country landlocked between the colonial regimes of South Africa and the former Portuguese colonies of Mozambique and Angola. After they gained their independence in the mid-1970s, the anti-colonial struggle focused on Rhodesia. This film is compiled from many different sources, some as originally broadcast. From news film coverage of events as they actually happened, we see a people fighting for their independence. A struggle that brought colonial Rhodesia to independent Zimbabwe. The Rhodesians under Ian Smith claimed to have the finest army in the world. This was an exaggeration. It was, however, the most unusual and possibly the most efficient counter-guerrilla force in Africa. It was also tiny. At any one time, there were no more than 20,000 men in the field. Of these, only 4,000 were full-time professionals. Of the remaining 16,000, half were white Rhodesians who served on a part-time basis. Others were Africans who served in the police or local defense units. The Rhodesian army was fighting against 8,000 or 9,000 nationalist guerrillas inside the country and a further 15,000 to 20,000 outside. Back in the 50s and 60s, black political aspirations were modest. They wanted simple political rights. But even their demonstrations were banned. As frustration mounted, moderation turned to militancy. Passive resistance turned to civil disobedience, and the seeds were sown for a full-scale civil war.
The revulsion, I think, started through the stories that our parents used to narrate to us, how the white man came to the country, how he grabbed the land, and in a society where you have a class whose main purpose and accepted privilege is to exploit others, you naturally get repulsed if the majority of people are being oppressed, being exploited. You can't avoid, if you have any moral principles at all, the call to do something about it.
Since they first chased the blacks from their land in 1890, power had been almost exclusively wielded by the whites. The first rebellions were in 1893 and 1896, but they were crushed with help from Britain, and the leaders were executed. For Mugabe, these were the first martyrs of the revolution. Zimbabweans resigned themselves to serfdom, but bitter memories passed into
we